Hi, my name is Julie Anderson, and I'm here with health, performance, and longevity coach Deepak Saini, and his website is deepaksainihealth.com. Deepak, welcome.
Thank you very much. I appreciate being here once again.
And this is part 3. We're going to be talking about, Deepak is going to be talking about common health myths. So Deepak, the stage is yours.
Sure, let's just jump right in. So I would just say if one of the health myths that you are wondering about we don't discuss here, then check part 1, part 2. And I don't know how far we'll get. Maybe there'll be a part 4, part 5. I don't know. But this is part 3. So I'm just going to jump right in. So common health myth, again, sort of perpetrated or started in I guess probably like the 70s, 80s for sure. Vegetable oils are healthier for you. So healthy fats are essential for healthy living for sure. Your body needs fats to function optimally, to function properly. What I consider healthy fats are going to be, olive oil or olives, avocados, avocado oil, coconut oil, macadamia oil, that sort of things. Obviously omega-3s, from salmon or fatty fish. Those are healthy fats. When people talk about vegetable oils, they're talking about canola, corn, soy, cottonseed, soybean. Yes, I said that already. Those kind of oils. Those are extreme to get them. So if you think about those original products, they are not oily. If you take canola in the field and take the chaff and sort of, pull it off, your hand is not oily. If you cut an avocado and have the flesh in your hand is oily. So those products are not naturally oily. So how do they become oily? They are super, super highly processed with high heat, chemicals, and they can become, in transportation, they can become really rancid and that sort of thing. They are high, long story short, ingesting those vegetable oils is highly, highly inflammatory to your body. So what does inflammation do? It can manifest itself in many ways. Inflammation could damage your blood vessels. It could, make you put on weight. Could mess up your hormones and affect weight gain or weight loss. Many systems in your body. So, probably the biggest, back again, when I was growing up, it was like all about margarine. It's healthier for you, low fat, et cetera. And, I think I've, pretty much, I think people are starting to come around to this now. Like it's okay to eat real butter. Probably the last 5 years, and certainly with my clients and family members, and we've gotten everyone off of margarine, so that's great. That's one step. But yeah, highly inflammatory. So why did again, kind of goes back to that. We talked about in part 1 about the high fat myth and low fat myth type of thing. So it basically comes from those times. But I think the science wasn't good then, and the science since has just proven that was wrong. So we know that we need healthy fats, and there's nothing wrong as long as your diet is balanced. That there's lots of fruits and vegetables and that sort of thing. There's nothing wrong with eating a higher fat diet for good health. So I guess the other thing too is with all those products that I mentioned, corn, soy, all those products that they make vegetable oils from, those are nearly like 90+% are all GMO seeds and heavily fertilized and that sort of thing. So not only are they highly inflammatory, you also get all trace amounts of glyphosate and all that sort of things with them as well. So does those things contribute to the inflammation as well on their own. So all those things are you'd be hard pressed to find even just corn, let alone corn oil or canola oil, whatever, that's not GMO, not heavily sprayed and that sort of thing. So I just prefer myself to not put those things into my body for my health and my longevity goals. And really the cost price, between like canola oil and stuff is super, super cheap. And we talked about this also in part 1. Why is it super cheap? Because it's super heavily subsidized by the government to, the government is, into big ag, right? They're a partner with big ag and fertilizer companies, et cetera. So it's super, super cheap. But really, when you think about it, eating a well-balanced, healthy diet is not that expensive. And I don't have time to delve into that right now, but certainly if anybody has any questions, we can talk about that. And that's something I work on with my clients. But like, a big tub of coconut oil, an organic, fair trade coconut oil is not that expensive. Is it? Yeah, it's 4 or 5 times more than a thing of canola oil, but it is not that expensive in the grand scheme of things. It'll last you a long time. You don't need a ton of that. Butter is more expensive, 2-3 times. If you want grass-fed butter, probably 5-6 times more expensive depending where you live. But in the long scheme of things, in the grand scheme of things of your health, it's a minimal cost, a couple extra dollars for the benefits for that. So that's a myth that vegetable oils are healthier for you. So I'll move on to the next one. Oh, this is going to be a good one. We'll probably get a lot of comments on this one.
Yes.
Happy to have them.
Good.
Wine is good for your heart. Sorry.
Oh, you just like destroyed people's dreams and hopes right there.
I have. So let's unpack this one a little bit here. So I'll be the first to say that alcohol, whether it be wine or whatever, just alcohol in general, can play a role in relaxing you, lowering inhibitions. For whatever the social setting might be. If you maybe have anxiety in social settings, you might need that 1 or 2 drinks to take the edge off, to sort of relax, that type of thing. I get that. I see the sort of social benefit of alcohol. But let's not kid ourselves. Alcohol is a poison to your system. Your body will do whatever it can to get that alcohol out of your system. But in excess, you will throw up. Your body will make you throw up if you have it in excess. In not excess, you will typically have the munchies. Your body will want to dilute that. By you want to eat. How often do people have a couple of drinks and then there's usually around meal times anyway. Which is a good pairing to. But sometimes you'll have it as cocktails before dinner, and the next thing you're munching on appetizers and crackers and what have you to sort of dilute it, or your body will just raise your insulin to dilute the alcohol to just get it out. So having this insulin spike, so it's not good for your long-term health. And then many alcohols as well. What's the delivery mechanism? A lot of times is some sugary drink or something with it. That also compounds to the insulin spike in your body. So that's kind of alcohol in general. Let's get to red wine. So whenever there's studies that say, oh, red wine's good for you, 2 glasses a day, etc., what is the thing they're talking about that is actually good for you? It is a compound called resveratrol, which is found in the grape skin. Now, they found that in studies in animal models, animal studies, etc., that resveratrol is good for cardiovascular health. That is true. But in concentration, to drink enough wine to get the benefits for health, I'm just going to read it here because, so if you have an organic, biodegradable wine, like high quality wine that's not pesticides and it's manufactured properly, and if somebody has questions now I can discuss what that means, but you would need 9 glasses of red wine or up to 14 glasses of white wine to get the benefits of the resveratrol.
Holy smokes.
So think about that. You'd basically be bombed all the time to get the benefits for heart health.
Right.
So you're maybe helping your heart, but what are you doing everywhere else in your body with that much alcohol? Now, when it's the mass-produced wines, the cheap stuff, the stuff $3 a bottle, or the stuff out of the 4-liter bagged wine, and like the lower quality stuff. And I'm not talking about taste here, right? Taste is going to be individualized to people, right? There's plenty of high quality, organic, biodegradable wines, etc. That's you're just not going to like because everyone's palate's going to be different. I'm just talking quality wise here. That stuff you're going to need some studies shown. Potentially because of the quality of how they're produced, the resveratrol in the grapes, in the grape skin, is brought way down because of how the wine or the grapes are produced and manufactured. So I've seen studies of upwards of like hundreds of glasses of wine to get the benefit of our heart health when you're talking about a lower quality wine. So that's just a complete myth. So yes, there is a compound in grapes that is good for your heart health in concentrated form, but you cannot get that in any reasonable amount after the processing to make wine. So that is,
people
so
are
it's a
like,
big,
I'm having a glass of wine with dinner because it's good for my health. That's just like, that's a myth.
that is just a complete myth. If you want that benefits of that, of heart health, or if you have longevity goals like I do, then you're best to get you get it in pill form that's concentrated, and then boom, just pop it like you would any other vitamin or supplement or what have you. So yeah, maybe I'll just get quickly. So organic, what does organic mean? So you'll see organic wines out there. Okay, what does that mean? That just, all that means is that the grapes weren't sprayed with pesticides and that stuff. So okay, so great first start. But then you take the grapes, you harvest them, and then you still do all this processing, all this additives and chemicals added to it to make a nice oak flavor and a hint of cherry or whatever those type of things, highly processed before they go and bottle it. So that's probably I'll get to what I drink when I do drink, and I'll come back to wine in a second. So that's what organic means. They weren't sprayed. Organic and biodynamic, and there's some debate on exactly what that term means and in different jurisdictions what they allow. Again, back to for the labeling and that sort of thing. But biodynamic typically means that that grapes are sort of left to grow of their own device, so to speak. So they're not sprayed with chemicals. They're not overly watered to get big plump fruits. The roots have to go way deep to get water, and that's so basically the plant is stressed. They're not being babied. Like here's some water, here's some food. They basically have to go to their own devices to grow. So the fruits, the berries, typically are much smaller, but because the plant was stressed and had to work so hard to get water, to get the nutrients it needed to grow these fruits, the concentration of all the phytonutrients are much higher. Hence the resveratrol levels are much higher. So why you need less from an organic biodynamic wine to get those benefits. So that's kind of a bit of the difference. Again, a little bit of nuance between people's different definitions or jurisdictions and that sort of thing. So first of all, again, going back to my earlier comments, I get it for social settings and that sort of thing. I'm not judging here. Whatever you want to do, I mean, unless you're really wanting to take charge of your health and what depends what your goals are, etc. It doesn't really matter what you do. I'll just briefly talk what I do. So I used to drink mostly red wine, not for that. Because I thought the heart healthy benefits. It was less sugar, less sweet than white wines, and it was just nice social drink to have out and about. But once I learned about how that traditional conventional wines, how they're so heavily processed, there's really no labeling. If you look at a wine, it doesn't really say anything about what's the other ingredients in there, which they don't need to put in. There's, depending on the type of wine, the wineries are. There's a list of up to 2,000 different compounds / chemicals that they can use and mix and match to make the wines of hint of this, flavor of that, etc. And in North America and Australia, it's way looser than it is in Europe. So if you're going to drink a wine, drink a European wine. It's a little bit more regulated there. So I stopped drinking wine a number of years ago. One I don't drink a lot anyway. I'll have like 2 drinks like every 3 or 4 months, something like that. Again, in a social setting. So I don't drink wine, beer, gluten, all that stuff. So beers, I would not recommend that. If someone is going to drink for a social setting, I would say drink a hard alcohol. All the sugar's been distilled out of it. Doesn't matter, even if it's rum, which ironically enough comes from sugarcane. After the distilling process, there's virtually no sugar in it. So you're not going to get the same type of insulin response that you will. I mean, you will because it is an alcohol, but from other type of drinks. So that with a soda or with water or tequila straight up, what have you. That's going to be your least damaging drink for you. So that doesn't mean have a vodka with like a gallon of Coke. Don't put shots into your big gulp, like we were talked about that before about soda. So just drink responsibly and just know your there's a spectrum of more damaging to least damaging if you're going to drink alcohol. So I'll move that one. Moving off of that one. Yeah. So another myth again is that you have to go to a gym to train. You have to, if you want to build muscle or strength train, or even just maintain just healthy living, functional strength, you have to go to a gym. So it essentially a myth. Like, you don't have to go to a gym. Yeah, is a gym going to a gym nice? Maybe there's a social aspect. You see people, you have a training partner. There's a wide variety of equipment. You can try different things. I get that, but that you have to go is just a myth perpetrated by the health and fitness industry, right? Because they need to stay open. They need to have their trainers working. I think many people overtrain. I see this all the time with my clients and just in general. People overtrain. You really, if you train, I feel, again, it depends what your goals are. If you're training for something, you're training for an Ironman or a marathon, or you're going to climb Mount Kilimanjaro, or like, you need to train for these events. You have to prepare for them. But just for the average person who just wants to get a little bit healthier, keep bone density as they age, functional strength as they age, you don't need to do a lot. If you train effectively, you really only need to train, like strength train specifically. We should have movement every day, and we talked about that earlier in I think part 1. But just strength training, you really only need to do, like, if you're done effectively, really just once a week. And if you do like a high intensity training quickly with sort of the 5 functional movements, you can be done really fast, like 20 minutes, half an hour. So this whole thing to get you to the gym 5 days a week, hire a personal trainer. And I am a certified personal trainer. That's not my bread and butter. My basic is nutrition and other lifestyle factors. But you got to come back, got to work out 3 days a week. It's just to keep these people employed. Really, that's all. You don't really need to do that. And again, the gym is great if you want variety, and again, depending what your goals are. But I see people. I go to gym sometimes when I'm on vacation or what have you. It's like, it's there, so might as well use it to vary it up a little bit, because I typically just train at home. I typically just do myself. I have a whole setup at home too, with all the weights and all that, but I mostly just do body weight strength training, and I think that's all most people need to do. I see people doing these like isolation machines, and I'm going to work my left pec and then my right tricep and all that sort of things. Like, yeah, can you even do a push-up? Because if you can't even do a push-up, I don't know what you're doing with all these special, just the basic 5 movements, functional movements will work your entire body for just, plain everyday health and longevity. Again, it's different if you have specific goals you're working on, for sure. And if you're, a bodybuilder, so we're not talking to you in that sense. We're just talking about the average Joe who maybe wants to lose weight or just wants to be healthier as they age. You don't really need to go to the gym to work out. You can do it at home for sure.
What are the 5 functional movements, Deepak?
Great question. So a pushing motion, so typically that's your push-up. A pulling motion, so it could be like a row or a pull down or something like that. Squats, lunges, and then to work your sort of your core, your abs, if you will, planks. Simple. You don't need any machines to do that. I mean, you can certainly add weight or something to make it challenging as you go. There's even like a standard push-up. I think everyone knows what a standard push-up is. If you can knock out 40 of those, or or whatever your number is, 20 of those, whatever, you can make a standard push-up harder. There is many degrees harder, still using no equipment or anything to work your upper body, to work your chest, without using any equipment or anything. Here's just one off the top of my head, right? So say someone can do, 40 push-ups, bang them out, no problem. Okay, and maybe you can do a couple of sets of those, fine. Well, if you don't have no abs or anything else, you know what? Maybe you're I don't know, you have a 6-year-old at home that weighs like 45 pounds. Have them lie on your back while you're doing push-ups. There, you've added 45 pounds of resistance, and you've changed, and they're probably going to be moving. You've changed the the dynamics. If you're just doing a body weight squat, okay, great. You know what? An old milk jug, fill it with water, freeze it. You're going to add a little bit of weight. Do your squats with some little bit of resistance in your hands or what have you. So there's so many little things you can do at home. You don't need equipment. Sometimes those things come in nice, but you really, really don't need it. It can be very inexpensive. It actually costs you free. It can be free. It costs you zero to work out. So.
That's awesome. I love that you said, like, really you could do strength training like once a week for the average person, like not discounting like people that have big goals, they're doing all these other things, but for the average person that just wants to get healthy, it doesn't have to be this regimented thing that you have to show up 5 days a week and you have to do all these things. It's just thinking of like those five movements, and then you could do this at home.
For sure.
You could use common sense to like make it incrementally more challenging for yourself as you get stronger.
Yeah, I'll give another one just as an example. I'll keep stick with the push-up. So if you can do, again, if you can bang out like 40 push-ups or 30 or whatever your number is, raise one leg and do your push-ups with one leg raised off the ground. You've just made it harder. Change your grip, how wide your hands are, how narrow they are. You've changed the dynamics of that. Just changing one little variable and you've made it a little bit different. You're working the muscles a little bit differently. There's one good gauge. I'm getting a bit off topic here, but there's a good gauge for sort of longevity and strength, is that if you should be able to, it's kind of good, as you get into your 20s, 30s, 40s, et cetera. Not really talking when you're any younger than that, but just a good sign of sort of baseline strength is being able to do your age, number of push-ups that's your age. So for me, 43, banging out 43 push-ups in a row. I tried it when I was 41, so a couple years ago. And it took me a couple weeks to build up to it, but I got up to the squeeze out the last 41 in a row. So I haven't really attempted 43 again. I should probably work my way back up to that again. But I was pretty proud of that, to bang out 40 push-ups in one sitting. Some people, if they've been doing all their life, that maybe seems like nothing. But I used to be a gym rat. I used to be a gym guy, doing bench press or using all those machines and that sort of thing. And then now probably the last 3-4 years, maybe four going on 5 years, primarily using just body weight or very simple weights and stuff like that. Like I said, I have a whole setup at home, and I every once in a while rotating in when I just want to change a pace. But for the most part, I just do body weight. But again, I have different goals than other people, right? So
awesome. Deepak, that's part 3.
Oh, okay. We're right up to it. Okay, so
yeah. So where can people get a hold of you?
Sure. Yeah. So deepaksainihealth.com. So DeepakSaini health.com is my website. That's the same for my YouTube channel. D Saini Health for Twitter, and D Saini Health Deepak Saini Health on Facebook.
Awesome. And Deepak, what do you help people do? Like, what is it that, say somebody, what is it that you do to help people?
Right. So again, I'm a health, performance, and longevity coach. So I feel that if you work on some of the upstream issues, so say says somebody, everyone's going to be unique, right? So I take a unique individual approach with all my clients or anyone that I work with. Say somebody might need to lose weight and they might have some other issues and that sort of thing. If we bring inflammation down, primarily through nutrition, but that's going to affect other aspects of their health, maybe help them sleep better, that sort of thing. Weight will be a byproduct. So if someone needs to lose, people might come to me like, I need to lose weight. It's like, well, you know what? I get a scope of the entire person. Let's work on these other things, and and of course, nutrition is a big part of that, and bringing inflammation down, and some of the myths we talked about already, and weight will sort of be a byproduct. But I help people sleep better. Well, I guess the first thing we work on, I mean, it all works in tandem. It's not like week 1 we do this, week 2 we do this. It all works together, very holistic approach. But a lot of times people, right, they got to get this right. Yeah. They got to get their mindset right. Their why. Why do they want to lose weight? Why do they want to have whatever health goal they have, or why do they want to get over whatever health challenge they have? I have a lot of people come to me again for sleep or just lifestyle factors. They want to just perform better, just cognitive function better. Some high performers, they might be killing it in their in their careers and that sort of thing. But they want that extra edge. They want that 1% or that 5% edge. Again, they might be killing their careers, but they want to be more present with their spouse or with their family. So we incorporate breath work and meditation and gratitude. And then so many other things too. Like again, it's a very holistic approach. I'm not really answering this very concisely, I know, but
it's good. It is. It's really good because it gives people the idea of who you are, right? Which is it's so important.
Yeah, actually, I just did recently. If you go onto my website or YouTube channel, I think the video is titled "What Does a Health, Performance, and Longevity Coach Do?" So I kind of, in a better detail, more concise manner, exactly what I work on with people. And again, everyone's different. Not everyone's going to need all the things that I can help somebody with, but sleep, mitigating radiation from its many forms, lighting, water, we talked about a little bit earlier today. That's very important, and all the factors. So it's not just food. It's not just exercise. It's your whole lifestyle. And then some people, not every client, but some people have longevity goals, like I do. I've publicly stated I plan and I'm working on to be a centenarian. And I have a few clients who are like, hey, that sounds good. I want to come along for the journey. And we're working on, they have their nutrition in check. They have exercise and that sort of thing in check, but they want the cognitive function. They want to sleep better. They want to be more present, have more gratitude in their life, have a more sense of self and of serving others. And they want to live a long time and be cognitively, mentally sharp when they're in their 80s, 90s and beyond. So I have some clients like that, and some clients just want to lose 80 pounds. And that's, but many of those clients too, once they get to those meeting those goals, then it's like, oh, what's the next thing I want to work on? So they might come to me for weight loss, but as we move along, they're like, hey, I want to sleep better. I want to be this as well. So yeah, very holistic approach. And that was a very long answer. So
that was great. Deepak, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. This was
Thank you very much again. Appreciate it.
All right. And again, just, where can people reach you again?
DeepakSainiHealth.com and Deepak Saini Health on YouTube.
Awesome. All right, Deepak, until next time, thank you. I appreciate you.
Thank
we
you,
need
Julie,
to do the boom.
Oh, here we go.
Boom. It's like, ooh, yes.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Deepak.